Good morning, Nicole and Chris with you. Our top stories across the country, Chris. We've got this low, still bringing showers to BC, but some freezing rain in Alberta and parts of the southern prairies, southern Saskatchewan and Manitoba today. Patchy freezing rain.
High pressure settling over Ontario and Quebec, and the departing storm. Much colder temperatures are settling in. Take a look at yesterday. Fredericton near 10 degrees, St. John 9. So a lot of melting was going on there. And even St. John's, which got above zero. You had rain this morning. It's sub-zero. Icy roads out there.
Exactly, because look at these temperatures, Chris. By the afternoon, Halifax -3. That's without the wind chill. Charlottetown -7 and St. John's -6. A big cool down and still some strong winds this morning. Western shores of Newfoundland, the southern Avalon, winds out of the northwest, so raw in nature. But we are seeing some sunshine here across the prairies up towards Quebec as well as things clear out for Friday.
It's just cold and cold Saturday, and the one thing we're watching into the weekend, like this is some light additional snow today, 2 to 5 centimeters. The one we're really watching is from Fredericton to Halifax. Could be a significant storm system into Sunday. This will be, Timmins tomorrow could see 10 centimeters. Sudbury just a trace. Some scattered showers in Toronto, but that's what we're watching right there.
Exactly. So for the weekend, prepare for more snow.
Yeah, but you get those darker. It's like, when you're walking in the summertime. If you wear dark clothes, you get very, very warm. But if you wear light clothes, well, same idea. We call it albedo, of course.
Exactly. Like walking on asphalt would be very hot.
That's right.
So it's helping to melt the snow. It's already melted 2 feet.
Good. Well, it's absorbing the sun as opposed to reflecting it back into space. So good idea. Maybe you could use some of that in parts of the East Coast. Not a lot of snow on the ground across southern Ontario. In fact, you're probably seeing a lot of grass sprout up thanks to the warmer temperatures this week.
Yes, and we do have some nice sunshine here in southern Ontario up towards Cottage Country, Chris. But then, Timmins towards Geraldton, seeing some snow, but this line, this red line, that warm front, the dividing line between snow and rain into Friday. Stay with us. Well, let's start off on the west coast where today showers are starting to taper off, but Vancouver picking up an additional under 15 millimeters, a little bit more for Tofino, and then you get a nice break from the rain on Friday. More rain moves in for Saturday. Some snow in the prairies in the north here, about 2 to 5 centimeters north of La Ronge itself, light dusting, and we're seeing a lot more snow moving into northern Ontario. Through the day today into Friday, places like Timmins, 10 to 20 centimeters possibly, but note around Sudbury, we're just seeing a light dusting. All right, thanks so much, Rachel. And if you're flying out today, here's your Friday forecast. Acapulco, 35 degrees. It pains me to talk about this forecast, Chris, because I'm not going anywhere.
Cancun, 31. Enough said. All right, developing stories here at home.
All right, don't put your coats away, especially if you're staying in town in the East Coast. Wild West freezing rain warning and a weekend storm will bring you 20 to 30 centimeters. We're talking to you in Atlantic Canada.
Yeah, specifically the Maritimes. All right, now let's recap some of the watches and warnings, but first a quick overview. And Nicole, we have some snowfall warnings southwest of Whitehorse. We've got freezing rain warnings north of Edmonton.
Yes.
And we've got colder temperatures. Won't be as warm as yesterday in Toronto, Ottawa, nor Montreal.
And this Gulf low, we'll talk about that coming up. It's going to impact you in Atlantic Canada. But for today, we've got Blanc Sablon in a blowing snow advisory. Warnings have been dropped in Newfoundland, Chris, but gusts this morning in St. John's, 87 kilometers an hour.
The 510 highway in Labrador largely closed or just travel not recommended. Still blowing snow from Cartwright right down to Lansalou. All right, freezing rain warnings. We've seen that around Grand Prairie in the southern piece, and that's going to move its way eastwards towards Bonnyville and Fort Mac, Edmonton. Potentially some freezing drizzle or rain. Certainly some fog this morning.
Haines Junction in through parts of the north. We've got 15 to 30 centimeters of snow on the way, and a blizzard warning for Clyde River this afternoon with gusts up to 70 kilometers an hour. More sunlight, and they've already melted 2 feet of snow at this point. They don't want to shovel it, Chris, because that could ruin the ground.
Absolutely, and of course, because we know snow reflects sunlight. It takes a long time for that snow to evaporate. All right, so there's our risk for our risk of some freezing rain there again, mainly north of Edmonton. We will see this system. By the way, this is a warm front. This is going to lift northward. So tomorrow, all of Alberta, even high level, will be above the 0 degree mark.
And then that will shift into Saskatchewan for the next day, Saturday. Through to Friday, though, this is the snow we're seeing in northern parts of the prairie provinces, 2 to 5 centimeters, generally speaking. But boy, lots of snow today moving through Ontario. It's already started in the northwest. But note you can see the warm front here, the dividing line, Thunder Bay's rain, and even a risk of some freezing rain tomorrow morning. Time for Share Your Weather. Loving everyone's photos they're sending me on my Twitter account at Nicole Karkic. Keep on doing that. You can also send some videos through Vine, through my Twitter account as well. Today, the picture that is chosen is from Halifax. Look at this. Absolutely stunning this week. You can see the nice colors. Rich Irving sent this to me. He said, good morning from Halifax. Well, good morning to you, Rich. Here is your afternoon forecast high. -3, so a lot different than yesterday's 8-degree high. A 10-degree drop. Winds are sustained at 25 kilometers an hour with a northwesterly flow, so it is chilly. Now, for Friday, not much better, -7, and snow coming in Saturday through to Sunday. Look at Sunday's high, it's -1. This could be up to 20 centimeters of snow, so another big storm coming to you in Nova Scotia. There are special weather statements in place for this. We'll talk more about that throughout the program. This afternoon on the west coast, still warm in Calgary at 14 degrees. Vancouver, rain tapering off. You'll get up to 13 for that high. Winnipeg +7. You've been above freezing this whole week so far. And then, yes, that cold air in the east. And we look here at Yellowknife, -17, the daytime high. Jumping ahead to Friday, warmer air coming in through the prairies, so even warmer than today in through parts of southern Saskatchewan, and frigid in the east. But yes, we're following this Gulf low, which is bringing snow into Nova Scotia, Prince Edward Island, Cape Breton Island, and New Brunswick. Here's more on how people feel about that. Okay, so British Columbia still on March break. We've got this afternoon some showers for you in Vancouver if you're doing a little staycation. Calgary's getting up to nice 14 degrees. Over towards the east, places like Toronto, the daytime high 2 degrees, fairly seasonal. But the island of the Bahamas looks pretty great to me. Nassau getting up to 29. Georgetown 25 on Friday with some cloudy conditions. Freeport getting up to 29. Over towards Miami 27 degrees, a mix of sun and cloud. Enjoy if you're traveling. Awesome. Thanks so much, Rachel. So people flying out of parts of Ontario as well as Nova Scotia and PEI for March break, which starts next week. But this week, British Columbia has had March break. And for Vancouver yesterday, your daytime high this weekend, Saturday is actually going to be very soggy for the lower mainland. But good news is freezing levels are low enough that we're going to see some snow in places like Whistler. Today, this is the rainfall forecast, the additional rain, but it is clearing out, tapering off. And tomorrow will be sunny in BC. This morning, some freezing rain in the north. Slave Lake, Fort McMurray was included in the freezing rain warning. That could transition over to snow as the day goes on and cooler air is in place. And while southern Saskatchewan has seen some freezing rain at times today, the snow is the concern through to Friday in the north, but it's about 2 to 5 centimeters, not much. Cloud to ground lightning. Very cool shot there. Through to Friday, there's some snow in Ontario. It's already started to move through places like Geraldton. Extends over to Timmins into tomorrow, 10 to 20 centimeters. And while Sault Ste. Marie will see that change over to rain, before that happens, overnight tonight, there is a chance of seeing some freezing rain and a little bit more snow to go in parts of Newfoundland and still some strong winds. Right now, we take a nice trip around the world with Kim McDonald.
One and do some damage to your car. It could be a lot more than that. Developing stories, don't put your coats away yet. I mean, of course, it's still winter. Wild West, some freezing rain warnings north of Edmonton, and a weekend storm could bring a lot of snow to places like Fredericton and Halifax this weekend.
That's right. Special weather statements issued this morning for Sunday's storm. This is the Gulf low that's going to move up and bring you that nasty weather in the east you don't want anymore. Freezing rain in Alberta, north of Edmonton at this point. We could see some freezing drizzle for you in the city.
Additional snow, another couple centimeters to go across Newfoundland. The wind warnings are over, but it's still very windy, and flurries today across Nova Scotia and PEI won't really amount to much. The big story for you obviously will be the chill in the air.
That's right. Very cold. Big drop by about 10 degrees compared to yesterday in the Maritimes. And snow moving into northern Ontario right now already, Chris. The bulk of the heavy snow will be right here in White, 10 to 20 centimeters. Timmins, you're included in that.
Risk of freezing rain, though, anywhere south of Lake Nipigon, right down towards the Algoma region, and that may produce some freezing rain warnings from Environment Canada. So warm front coming in south of this. See all this precipitation shield south of here? You're going to be back in the mid and upper single digits in many parts of southern Ontario. Still cool, though, Ottawa and Montreal.
It is, but sunny. And we've got through to Friday some snow in the Interlake region of Manitoba. We've seen some patchy freezing rain this morning in southern Saskatchewan and Manitoba, but that snow is going to fall through today into tomorrow. And there's that line of where we could see that freezing rain north of that, Chris, staying staying as snow. Lightning, you get the forking that happens off of it. Glad you could join us. I'm meteorologist Nicole Karkic. This afternoon, look at your temperatures. Regina will be 4, Winnipeg +7 for you. A mild streak this week. Halifax, though, -2, St. John's -6. So the cold air definitely in place in the east. And a destination for many headed out for March break. Rachel Schutzen joining us. Are those sunglasses on top of your head because you're wishful thinking, wanting to join people on their vacation as they head out today?
Yeah, they are totally. So, all right, Nicole, I'm just going to pretend a little bit. See you later, guys.
All right, bring the sunglasses and bring the fun. I like the message. This morning, if you're flying out of Pearson Airport, chilly temperatures to start the day, but lots of sunshine, so we're not going to see flight delays because of the weather. Ottawa, -9 for you this morning. Cold air in the north as well. And in the north of Ontario, we do have some snow already moving through Geraldton, Marathon, Thunder Bay -4, and that snow will continue as the day goes on into tomorrow, where we're seeing 10 to 20 centimeters. Timmins over towards Geraldton 5 to 10, but you can see the dividing line of warm air coming through. Thunder Bay is going to be rain, and tonight into tomorrow morning, Sault Ste. Marie, chance of freezing rain changing over to rain tomorrow. So we're in that shoulder season where we get the freezing rain at times as temperatures are fluctuating. Friday, we've got into Friday some snow in northern prairies, 2 to 5 centimeters far north. Winnipeg staying dry, but southern Saskatchewan this morning has seen some patchy freezing rain, some rain mixed in as well. That clears out as the day goes on. And this morning, freezing rain has been reported in Slave Lake, Fort McMurray included in the warning at this point. In Edmonton, slight risk of some freezing drizzle for you. Out east, but what we have today is much cooler temperatures and a little bit more snow to go on the western shores of Newfoundland, and a storm on the way for Atlantic Canada. Coming up, more on that and more on what's happening in the prairies by the weekend.
You think?
Okay, so British Columbia still on March break. We've got this afternoon some showers for you in Vancouver if you're doing a little staycation. Calgary's getting up to nice 14 degrees. Over towards the east, places like Toronto, the daytime high 2 degrees, fairly seasonal. But the island of the Bahamas looks pretty great to me. Nassau getting up to 29. Georgetown 25 on Friday with some cloudy conditions. Freeport getting up to 29. Over towards Miami 27 degrees, a mix of sun and cloud. Enjoy if you're traveling.